This is Bucket Talk, a monthly podcast taking you across America to meet the most badass tradespeople, industry leaders, and personalities. If you're looking to level up in the trades, you're in the right place. All right, this season of Bucket Talk, we're here with American Pavement. I didn't it up, it's good. American Pavement, family owned and operated. Old man here started the whole company, got his boys. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Bill Stanley, dad to these three guys, CEO, owner, head cook, bottle washer for American Pavement Specialist out of Danbury, Connecticut.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
I'm Matt Stanley. I'm the youngest, son 004. Josh, 34 years old, number 3, paving operator.
Jack, I'm 38, and I'm number 2 in line.
Number 2 in line to the
There's
throne.
another brother, too.
Brother.
Oh, okay. So you're the spare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks for having me down here.
Thanks for coming.
We just did an entire walkthrough, and I learned more about paving than I've ever known. So this is, you guys have been paving and doing asphalt for over 25 years.
What's it? 25. This will be our 32nd season as American Pavement. I'm a 47-year veteran of the industry, though.
Yeah, okay. And you started with your brother, and you guys worked with your father?
Yep,
Did your father own his own company?
he did.
And what was that? Was that American Pavement too?
No. This is a separate company. He ran a mom and pop company.
Yeah.
And we did driveway work. And back then, everything was done with a horse and wagon, as I like to say. We started off with picks and shovels, brother.
All right. And now you guys...
Now we're fully automated.
Okay. And we're in this beautiful building. You guys have been here for 4 years now?
Yeah, about 4 years.
Okay. The young ones came on. When did you guys come on about?
Since we're old enough to pee outside, right?
Yeah. Since we were potty trained, we got to go with Dad in the truck. I always tell people, my dad made hard work cool. He was the man coming home at night, covered in grease. We wanted to be just like him. So whenever we were old enough to go with him, he took us with him, and he taught us what real work was at a very young age. So
Awesome.
we'll always be thankful for that.
Now, was it that bond that you guys created in the truck, at a young age, and just looking up to Dad and seeing hey, all the that he was doing and getting into? Was that when you guys made your mind up to get into the paving game, or was it I don't want to do that?
I think we all kind of knew at a young age that this is what we wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah.
I think growing up, that was like my pickup line. I was going to take over Dad's business. And the girls were like, oh, my God.
That guy.
I never knew that.
Still working on it, though.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's kind of I don't know. You talk with a lot of mom and pop operations, a lot of father, son, brothers. You hear the horror stories, you hear the good stories. I mean, you guys seem to have kept it together, at least publicly.
No, we keep it together. We keep it together.
Right? One of our biggest compliments all the time is when people come on the job, they say, "You guys, I've never seen a paving company that's not fighting or yelling or screaming at each other."
Oh, yeah.
So when you talk about the family business, my wife and I, we're sort of old school.
Yeah.
So years ago, the farmers, how they raised their children, they'd say they'd be with Mom until they were old enough to go in the barn with Dad.
Yeah.
And that's probably pretty simple.
Yeah.
That's what we did. Very easy, and it does work.
That's awesome. So,
And when everyone's rowing boat in the same direction, you're going to get good results.
yeah, absolutely. You guys have created a great name for yourself in the area. Clientele that have been with you since you first started in the industry, and now you guys are working with those same clients.
We have customers that I worked for their father, and now my sons are working with their sons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Creating a legacy.
Yeah, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys right now we're in southern Connecticut.
Yep.
Southwestern Connecticut.
So we're right near the New York border.
5 minutes.
Okay. And your main operation is obviously the Danbury area, but you go anywhere in Connecticut, New York, well, at least southern New York. Yeah. And you guys mainly do commercial, residential?
Commercial, town work, right?
Commercial, municipal.
Cool. I always like to ask this question because it seems like you guys have gotten this far, and it's amazing to aspire to this, and some of it may be planned, some of it may not have been, and you guys have become a very successful business. But like, what's next for the group? What are you thinking?
So we've built to here.
Yep.
The next, if there is a next tier, that'll probably be these guys. But my focus right now is we're working on not getting a lot bigger, just a lot better.
Yeah.
So we want to perfect it, which should end up in our bottom line.
Yeah.
So rather than grow our gross to umpteen millions, we rather grow our profit up and leave the gross. We always want to add gross, but the gross number is one thing. But if you can do less with more profit, that's what we're working on.
Cool.
Which means getting my guys home earlier, less overtime, better benefits, and better workmanship, which should result in a higher dollar. That's where my brain is right now at my stage of the game. And it's no different than a bottle of water, which you could buy at Costco for $0.25. You go to a convenience store and it's $1.50. You go to an airport, it's $8. It's the same bottle of water, right? We want the $8 bottle of water because of our service, who we are, and how we do it, and present our product.
Yeah.
And stand behind our product.
Now, your product is also outward facing, but it's also inward. You were talking about the legacy of some of the guys that have been working with you. Obviously, we have a huge tradespeople shortage out there. It seems like you guys are fully staffed. It's a great place to work. You guys have fostered a good work environment. It's a tough job. I mean, not many people are banging down the doors to be pavers, right?
Absolutely not.
But somehow you guys managed to have top-notch service, a good product. You guys are cutting edge with the machines you're doing. Some of the pieces of equipment I've seen is just like life-changing for the industry.
Yep.
Matt and his brand raised on blacktop. I mean, really just pushing the industry forward. You guys got to have a good product internally, not just externally.
We try. We do our best. We have the same problems that every business has, but we feel we're hands-on, 100%. I'm on speed dial 24/7, not only for my clients but our guys. We solve every problem in-house if we can, and if we can buy a machine that has a cab on it for my operator, and I can keep him hot and warm and dry and cool in the summertime, we're in on that.
Yeah.
Which gives me a better employee, right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about being cutting edge, that brings people in.
Yeah.
Keeps them here.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you're crazy to spend that kind of money to put a roof on that thing. But if there's a roof, I want it.
Well, I mean, and you guys pride yourself on being obviously quality, but speed is, you guys have done things around here with newer, faster equipment. So having that, any downtime with labor shortages or anything like that, not being able to fill crews, that hurts your bottom line anyway.
Absolutely.
So like, that investment maybe a lot up front, but like long term it pays off.
If we can get 2 or 3 working days a year more because that's fully enclosed,
Pays for itself.
We'll take them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now your guys happy, your clients are happy, and your bottom line is
Right.
better.
And we wouldn't be doing this podcast today if we weren't inside of a heated building, right?
I know.
Right.
It's freezing outside.
Right. And it all comes down to that's the whole minutia of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. So that's pretty cool. As we walked around, we were looking at your hot patch operation out back. That's. I mean, I don't know if it's cutting edge for the industry, but it's definitely something that you guys have worked to grow and fill the void when you guys have some downtime and create a more sustainable environment. I mean, you guys are recycling asphalt
100%.
out there,
Yep. Yep. Which is the future of our business.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day that's gonna be done on a big scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there already been strides in the industry towards that?
Yeah.
Have they done it at scale yet or no?
Has a few years you will see that they're not going to be mining for virgin material out of mountains.
Yeah.
We have all the material right on the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
It hasn't been perfected yet, but it will.
there's millions of miles of road that
Correct.
just get reclaimed
Correct.
every year.
Correct. Asphalt's the most recycled product on the planet
So-
right now.
So prior to this recycling, What was done with the millings and stuff? Was it just was it buried? Was it?
Well, millings are sort of a newer product. I mean, they've been around a while, but they've become very popular because there's so much more milling. But broken asphalt was occasionally crushed down and turned into gravel, which now is done frequently. But years ago, that would be dumped in and used as fill.
Okay.
Used as fill. You dump it over a cliff.
So that's cool to see, you know, an industry once that was a little.
Oh, yeah, our industry's changing fast. Real
Hell
fast. Yeah.
And that comes
a lot of technology.
Now, was the idea for millings and you know, hot patch and all that stuff? Did that come from like paving crews just messing around and figuring out a way to do it, or was that regulatory?
No, it was pretty much everything in the industry started off with a guy with an idea.
No way.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
Yeah, pulverizing in place instead of hauling it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a guy, you know, looking for a better mousetrap.
Yeah, because hauling it away is time, and time is money. So.
And our industry, believe it or not, is more every day, but we're really green.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Everything's recycled.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you think of it as a dirty petroleum.
So even when you see milling or in place, reclaiming, cold in place, hot in place, which they have different techniques all over the country, a lot of times the decision is made over hauling times with the trucks. You gotta put 50 trucks on the road for a month to remove a highway. It's better, cheaper, and greener to do it right in place, which now they can do.
Yeah.
So that's actually driven a lot of the technology.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you first started off in the industry with horse and carriage, and then upgraded to a wheelbarrow.
Yep.
We had lightly talked about like anybody who wants to get into this industry or start from the bottom, whether it's feasible or not. What's the first piece of equipment you go out and purchase outside of a horse and a carriage to really?
Well, there's a saying in the paving business. And I guess it hasn't changed. You need a truck and a roller.
Okay.
A truck and a roller.
Truck and a roller.
Right.
And then from there, it's a skid steer, and then just kind of, you know, either borrowing or.
Yeah. So when I started, if we're going to talk about the industry, and especially the history of it, skid steers weren't even on job sites. Now there's 10 on every site. That's a completely pretty new. Your guys' age.
You guys
piece
are
of
backhoes,
equipment.
right?
Yeah, backhoes, bulldozers.
Yep.
Excavators, and now minis have revolutionized the industry tenfold. But years ago, the United Rentals, Sunbet Rentals, Hertz Rentals, the Cats, the John Deeres, that you can go into a dealer and lease or rent a piece of equipment for a day, a week, a month, a year. That did not exist back in the day.
Okay.
That didn't exist. There was no United Rental where you could go down and rent a piece of equipment to do a job for you. That wasn't even available. Either you had to have it, borrow it, or hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But you were not renting, you know, skid steers at the local rental dealer.
That was the days
Which is, again, has totally revolutionized the industry.
Right.
No, very few, you know, right? And they were not, and even the leasing, financing, rentals, that didn't even exist. If you didn't have cash or triple tier credit, you were not getting in the game at all.
So all that was important.
Actually, the first, when you talked to me earlier about, you know, how did I get started? The first skid steer I bought, I paid 21% interest.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I bought a $20,000 skid steer back there. It probably cost me $40,000 to pay for the thing, but that was the only way I could get my hands on it.
Could have put it on a credit card for cheaper.
Right. I didn't have. We were not. You know, when you're starting off, you're not tier one. How are you gonna? Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what it was.
Charge cards, right?
No, they didn't even have those. No. Right.
Holy shit. So then, you know, obviously you had a piece of property down the road. Did you own?
We own that.
Yeah.
Well, we rented it, leased it, and then we bought it.
Okay. So you guys have always been, as I talked with you, some people lease their equipment, some people rent their equipment. However, you guys pride yourself on owning every aspect of the business. So everything is bought and paid for.
Now, yes.
Now
we've done all the above.
Yeah.
But now when we purchase, and suppose mostly, for the most part, it's replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we can, we buy it.
Oh yeah.
Or we fix it. We'll just keep the old one completely.
That's cool.
Right.
So I was talking to you about who's the guinea pig for operating new pieces of equipment, and you seem to have been the one.
Well, we all are, but I took to one thing, they took to another thing, right? So
I push the buttons.
yeah.
If there's a button to be pushed, I push it.
See what happens.
Yeah. Growing up, I was the VCR, TV, video game console setup person.
Yeah.
You know, like
Every house has one, right?
you know,
Yeah.
somebody's got to set up the VCR, make sure that the cable's working. That was me. I was behind the TV with the wires. So when we get a new piece of equipment, I'm usually the guy that goes into the system and figures out the X, Y, and Z and everything that's going on. But whether it's
Apple Watch.
but whether it's dirt or paving, that'll fall in his aspect or my aspect. But,
Okay.
yeah, I like to get on the equipment and figure out.
How it moves,
what it
does, what it
Right,
can do,
but
what it can't do.
I'm the kind of guy that wants to use 100% of the capability of the machine.
Yeah, so it
You
seems
know?
like you guys have good relationships with manufacturers in the industry of equipment, and I'm sure when a new piece of equipment comes out or something that's different, you guys are the first ones they call to say, hey, let's see how this performs on the job site.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah, we get that.
So I would assume the learning curve is probably pretty big for you, as there's no training videos or
Right.
limited training.
And when we go to trade shows, I like to sit on the machines and talk to the engineers and discuss with them. And a lot of times they see things on these machines that came from us that they're like, oh, they did that because we told them to do that.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see the Lee Boy machine out there that you guys did the special raised on blacktop edition. And just even the little from the spray can holder to the depth gauge holder to the lights where you need them. I mean,
we have a video of us in the shop,
we
selling
actually
it, selling it to Lee Boy.
Yeah, we had another paver that we actually took down to our guy and mocked it all up and sent it to him. Said, this is
What we want.
what we want.
That's cool.
They took
14 out of 15.
They took 14 options out of the 15.
Wow.
We sent them. Yeah.
What was the
And now their
15th?
industry standard.
Is that an ashtray?
It was
No, it was a piece of it was a 1-inch rubber mat for the operator
the
to
lighter.
stand on.
push button lighter.
Too slippery.
The iPhone charger. Yeah, the iPhone charger.
No.
Yeah, well, that's a thing too.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Holders.
That's cool to have a name that's not only just respected locally, but respected, in the industry, on social media. You guys have said social media kind of catapulted you guys into where you guys are now, starting with, website wasn't what you guys needed. So, Facebook business and then kind of moving into Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, hell, you look good on camera. But I think it's great. I mean, this resurgence with raised on blacktop, it's more than just for people in the industry. I think a lot of people can relate to it as a blue collar professional.
Yeah.
There's some form of, we're all essentially raised on blacktop to some degree, right?
Yep.
And I like this cult following you're bringing, and then kind of expanding. So what was the kind of thesis for that? Like where did that come from?
Well, now that we're talking about this, we talk about our reputation, and we always had this really good reputation locally. And my mom and dad worked their ass off to build that and to keep it. I remember being on jobs at 12 years old, and I'm not exaggerating, every job we would be on, they'd say, I'd never seen a group of guys work like this. Still to this day. And I'm seeing this as like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So I knew we had something special going on, and then we just brought that online, and that just helped catapult our reputation from a local level to state to now we're known worldwide.
Yeah.
And we're not known for dancing on a camera and dancing on TikTok. We're known for, putting the work in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
It's not a gimmick online, and even
Thanks.
raised on blacktop, it's very authentic. It's not a money grab at all. It's really trying to build this following around our industry that we never had before. And a lot of the reason why I started Raised on Blacktop was when I got online, I'd meet kids across the country that grew up just like us. They didn't just get into the business when they were out of college and had nothing else going on. They literally were raised on blacktop, literally grew up on a machine just like we did. And before social media, I didn't really realize that. And then I got connecting with these kids online that are just like us. We're meeting them at trade shows now, and we're keeping in touch with them, and now they're coming to visit us and staying a week with us.
Right.
So we're developing these cool relationships.
Yeah.
And building the industry for the next gen.
Right.
Yeah.
Making it cool.
I think
Make it cool for the kids.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think this has kind of been repetitive, but to be honest, well, what I'm about to say is a little repetitive, is the fact that, like, when we were growing up, and maybe not so when you were growing up, but, like, being blue collar was a detractor. Like, it wasn't cool. It wasn't.
Oh, I was proud. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to college.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be the banker's son.
Yeah, and for us, it's like, once you get into the trade, once you block out all the bullshit, you realize, like, you're doing something. You're moving. You're supporting a clientele, a community. All the jobs that you were talking about with clients that you've had over the years, and just the confidence that they have in you that it'll get done with little to no disruptions to their life. And sometimes people take that for granted, and once you pull that back, once you take that away, it's hard to find carpenters, electricians, and people can't get hot water, people can't get the outlet where they want because it's $10,000 to do so, or the last guy screwed them. And I think that, like, now this huge resurgence for the trades, Mike Rowe kind of started it. You guys are bringing it, we're bringing it. We need good quality guys that stand behind their product and really care about what they do on a daily basis, and the sky's the limit from there. I mean, you got this is no small operation, and this is nothing to frown upon. And I think that I'd be proud to have this brand on my sleeve. It's a great place to be.
Thank you.
So the work is hard, but it's rewarding at the end of the day.
It's also rewarding that, like, you don't realize it because you've grown up in it, but, like, to mentally push yourself every day.
Right.
Like, there's something to be said about that. Like,
right.
We run into tough shit every day, right? In the heat, like, it's tough, but at the end of the day, you feel like you did something. We're not hiding behind a desk.
Totally.
You hear all this shit, cold plunges this, cold plunges that.
Yeah.
Do this.
How about some hot plunges out there, right?
Go out on a November day. Go pave a parking lot when it's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
We don't have to go to the gym after work.
No, that's it. That's it.
There's something to be said about that, and I think the conversation has started. But brands like BRUNT, where you guys are here and you're involved in the blue collar industry, and now we belong to something.
Yeah.
Before there's other brands that we won't talk about, but they were just there, and I don't think they really gave a about us.
Yeah, and it's funny, you talk about the unknown or the unforeseen. You take the social media aspect, which is, the invention of the 21st century, right? That's changing the world.
Right.
Right. And out of social media, you're here today because of it, right? You're a work boot guy.
Yep.
Right. We're paving contractors, and mom and pop has actually got a voice through the social media thing that we didn't have pre that, right?
Totally.
So isn't it ironic, right?
Yeah.
That now when everyone's looking around going, wow, my kid can go run an excavator and make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right? 6 figures, or whatever the six
Totally.
figures fall, right?
Yeah.
Right? And the guy who was in the computer business was frowning on us prior.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, outside of this, you talk excavation companies and stuff like that, and just the amount of money they have in overhead and, the operating costs, and then, the finances and accounting that need to go into it, planning and infrastructure. I mean, you guys are running, on paper, multi-million-dollar companies. And
you see the Men Who Built America, if you've seen these series, right?
Okay.
The people we work with, these mom and pop people, whether it's the factory owner, the restaurant owner, our work boot guy, these people are the best, salt of the earth, most honest, hardworking people. And I had in my entire life experience of meeting people are these people in the field.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what profession. They're the Little League coaches. They're the ones fixing the fence at the church. They're the ones that their name on the hospital elevator button somewhere.
Yep.
It's usually a mom and pop. And that's what we're all about.
That's awesome.
Period.
That's awesome. Actually, I was thinking about it. I don't know if it's cheesy or not, but one thing that, I haven't seen is everything we do, for the most part, there's some schooling, but, like, it's all on the job training. Like there is no school or university for paving and asphalt or even concrete work or whatever. That might be a future endeavor. You could be a professor one day.
We've got some things working.
Oh, that's cool.
We've got some things working.
We won't talk about
Raised
that.
on Blacktop Academy.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I mean not to monetize from it, but we would love, and every time someone sticks a camera in my face, if I can give my knowledge to the next gen, I'm all in. I mean, think about that. You know, as we were talking about who's the one to push the buttons on the first piece of equipment. Imagine if you had that upfront knowledge as you're stepping into the industry, whether or not you're going to, you know, hop on, you know, a 10-wheeler right off the bat. At least you've seen it, you've drove it. You know, you got a basic understanding for how it works. Even, I mean, greasing. You guys have no mechanics here. Everybody kind of pitches in. Right. Everybody's mechanically inclined, which is insane. I mean, I'm surprised you guys don't have a full-time mechanic. Yeah. But that's awesome that you guys can, you know, service the equipment yourself from the million grease fittings, which I get anxiety over. And you can't skip one. Right. Like that one is the one that'll you over on the. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just being able to have a basic understanding for how things work, grading, you know, shooting grade. Life skills too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life skills.
Yep.
Right, when you buy your first house and you hire a plumber and he tells you that the pipe's got to go like this up the wall and it's going to cost you $27,000, you scratch your head and go, I don't think I'm talking to the right guy, because you know.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, I've had buddies, you know, that went off to college, and you know, I won't mention their names, but you know, have had me over to put a toilet paper holder on their wall, and it's things like, you know, I didn't learn how to put a toilet paper holder on the wall. I've learned life skills through the trades.
This is the story that's stuck in my head. We're at a $3 million house, and a young fella your age comes out, and I said, I need to get the water faucet so we could hook up the hose. And he wasn't sure if his house had one.
No shit.
Yeah, he didn't know where that said. I said, every house has two. I said, I just wanted to let you know that I was walking around the back of your house. I didn't want to walk behind the guy's house. And there was a man in a $3 million house, and he didn't know where his water spigot was. Yeah. And I don't want to be there living near that guy during the California fires.
I'm gonna one up you here.
I don't want to be living next door to that guy.
I'm gonna one up you here, because this is actually a funny story. So we go to an Airbnb, and a friend of ours had rented it, and the hot tub was low, right? So before I got there, she had hooked up the hose to a water spigot and started to fill up the hot tub, but it didn't fill up. There was no water coming out of the hose. She had put it to the forced hot water drains in the basement. So, you know, off the furnace, you have all the piping for the forced hot water, and they have all the drain fittings there. Hooked it right up, opened it up. Well, now your forced hot water system is airbound. Yeah. I was like, oh Jesus. So,
she tried.
No. It's an Airbnb. We left.
The crew I hang around with could go down to the catch basin and get the water out of the catch basin with a bucket. Yeah. No problem. Find a creek.
That's cool. So, I mean, we were talking about like some of the biggest projects you've done, and I think, you know, while paving an entire city or town is a major feat, I wanted to dig deeper at like what was the like hardest, most challenging job that you guys have done outside of just like run of the mill, you know, long days paving streets.
So, unlike a lot of the industry, builders, site guys, you know, they're on the projects a year, 2 years, and they go on for months. Paving, you know, we'll take a sizable project, and in 3 or 4 days we're out of there. Yep. You know, we'll take a parking lot this size, and one day we're in and out. Yep. So I can't put my finger on any one job that really, I mean, we've done some monster projects, but for us, it's, you know, for us it's the pace. Yep. You know, we will literally install a parking lot here in Danbury on Monday. Tuesday we'll be doing a road over in New York. Wednesday we're paving behind the shopping center in Massachusetts, and so on. So for us, it's the pace, and it's the moving, and it's every day, and anyone will tell you in our industry, and I'm not blowing any smoke here. Paving is fast paced, which what I really enjoy about it is I'm not See, I always tell the other contractors on the job, I say, you marry these guys. I say, I only date them. We're in and out in 2 days. You're here for a year.
So it's less the actual task.
But
it's
not
more
only
so
when we take a road in Danbury, Tuesday morning pave, Monday the equipment's got to be delivered. Tuesday morning the fuel, the water, the guys. By Tuesday afternoon, by 4:30, that's got to all be broke down. Not only did you complete the task, that job has to be broke down. All that equipment's got to be down the next, and you're going to be lined up for the next job tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty adventurous.
Now you guys usually run. You had said 2 crews, sometimes 3.
sometimes 3.
And now you have 1 crew in one phase, probably finishing up, while the other one's using the equipment to start breaking down the street to get it ready for paving again.
Oh yeah.
So you guys are just constantly.
Yeah. We're not even done. These guys. That's a lot of my job, but these guys are 3/4 of the way done, and I'm already moving equipment to the next show.
Okay.
Lining up, picking up, cleaning up. The cones that were set up this morning are already getting loaded on the truck, getting ready for the next job.
So get a little bit more into family, which is, you guys obviously work well together and have been doing a great job of that this year. But is it challenging to work alongside your brothers? I mean, if honestly, me and my sister, if we work together, even my business with my wife, it is like there are certain points where we're butting heads. Not necessarily getting into the fist fight that you guys had earlier, but more so along the lines of like, how do you deal with the hierarchy of being the youngest to oldest? It seems like you guys have kind of took to each aspect of the business.
These guys.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, let him. These guys are grown-ass men now. We had a bit when they were younger, but they're grown men. They got families.
Yeah.
This is their career.
Yeah.
And obviously they see that there's an advantage to it, right?
Yeah.
So the rest of it they could tell you.
We don't fight that much. Like we have our moments where it's 100 degrees out, and something goes wrong. We yell at each other for a minute, but I mean it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's usually a blow up and then it's over.
Yeah.
It has to be over.
It has to be over.
Yeah. But like I always say, like I'm never with them really.
Yeah.
Like they're paving, I'm prepping.
So you're the one that's hard to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. But so like I don't, we're never really with each other. Yeah.
Well, I think
we are
Jeremy,
a lot,
a big thing that I never realized. I had someone tell me that is like, obviously there's a lot going on here, right? So
Yeah.
it's good to have. We need the help, right?
Yeah.
I need two dudes right here that are rowing in the same direction, but we also for the most part, we match each other's intensity.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing on jobs is like when you're really stressed out and, maybe your employees, they're not really even
Picking up on
the urgency.
So you guys are elevating each other's
read
game.
the room.
Yeah.
Read the room.
let's go, and
Yeah, so that's a big thing. But then also, I always use the analogy in basketball. Like, there's days where Josh has to go score 40 points, and all I have to do is rebound and play defense.
Yep.
And vice versa. And having a free flow kind of relationship like that.
Yeah, that's
is
super
a big
cool.
part that we take for granted, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously speaks to your level of professionalism too. Whatever you guys are dealing with, whether you guys deal with it or not, is behind closed doors, and you guys got a team to lead, and that's awesome. So if you guys are out there bickering, I've been on those job sites where you're out there bickering and fighting, and then the customers
you
sitting
look
there
like an
looking at
idiot.
you, you look
Yeah,
like an
right.
idiot. Yeah. So your wife works with you. Mm-hmm. You have a nephew that works here, and then you spoke. This actually hit home for me. I said, did you have any other family members here that worked with you? And you spoke to your longtime employees who aren't blood related, but the fact that they've been with you for 30 plus, 27 plus years, and that really struck a chord with me because as I went from the trades to BRUNT, I know people talk about fostering a family, and I know it kind of seems shallow sometimes. It's like trying to build that team mentality, but when everybody goes home, they don't give a about each other. But that's an amazing trait to have, that you actually look out for these guys as if they were your next of kin.
Well, they do spend more time here than they do at home.
Yeah.
I've watched these guys. I have one kid. His uncle worked for me. His father worked for me. They were from Mexico.
Yep.
He came here at 17. How old's Paco now? 40.
41.
He's been here 23 years. He got here on a Wednesday at 17 years old. His father said to me, my son's coming, can he come to work? I said, bring him to work. On Thursday he started, and he's been here ever since.
Wow.
So now this kid's been with me since he was 17. He's married. He's got a home, got kids. Yeah, he's family. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, and everything that goes on in his, not everything, but try to be a thinking boss. If he has a nice home, a nice car, and sleeps well and makes a good living, when he comes into work Monday morning, he's going to be fresh, right?
Yeah.
Right, and I need a fresh guy Monday morning.
Yep.
Right, so the thicker his quilt, the better off I am.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, I might be deep in the woods here, but I'm talking 30-year employee, right? You know, if he has to live well also. So it is something on my mind constantly.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is...
I can't just be the guy in the room, right?
Yeah. And that's crazy, too, because, you know, nowadays... I mean, whether it's a good term or a bad term, I like it as a good term being a company man. I've always tried to be, you know, where I go is where I want to stay. You know, I thought my last job was where I was going to stay. The industry changed. I had this new opportunity to further, you know, bolstering up the trades and the trades gap and kind of taking it to the next level. So I don't actually think it was you know, I quit because I went to go chase another dollar. I quit because I was going on to better help out the industry. But, you know, the reality is like I was at that job for, you know, 10 years. And, you know, that was essentially right out of the military. I'd never quit a job up until that point. And that's the same with BRUNT. I'm hoping to be here until I retire. And you just don't see that anymore. Guys are going from one job to the next to get that next dollar or two or that overtime hours.
The athletes, right?
Yeah.
Like LeBron, if
Yeah, he
if
should
Miami
have stayed in
offered him,
Cleveland. He should have stayed in Cleveland. He would have been an icon.
Yeah, exactly. If he's in LA right now, if somebody offered him $1 billion contract, he's leaving.
Yeah.
Right? He's leaving. Right.
So, I mean, I don't really have anything else. Like we've literally, let's talk about the trucks. So, by the way, where'd the red come from?
First truck we bought was red.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
It's as simple, and it's stuck. And it's stuck.
And back, believe it or not, you can't even find a red truck. Ford's not even making a red pickup
Yeah,
anymore.
we were talking about that.
But when I was back in the day, red was the color in the construction industry. You'd see two colors on a lot. It would be red and green. You bought a red one or a green one. Not pickup trucks so much, dump trucks, vans and stuff like that. Yeah, but you'd see 10 of these on a lot. Yeah. Red was the construction color.
And that's when it was funny. There were so many red cars on the road that you started seeing these fire trucks going to that yellow because they were being mistaken for emergency vehicles. And I wonder if that's what you were saying about the fire. Right? I mean, you guys have seen it. Like Enfield and a whole bunch of other towns had that lime green yellow truck, and that was something in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Not to interrupt you, but I think what he was getting at when he asked about the trucks was, you know,
your truck?
No, why did they keep them? I think what he was getting at was, you know, your trucks being so clean.
Oh yeah,
right, and it's a thing with us, but
pride and professionalism.
Okay, so you answered it. There you go.
So
people when you pull up in a clean truck, people know you're serious about your business, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we used to see it all the time in the garage. Guys would show up in, you know, their box truck, and you're like, oh my gosh, guys, like, you know.
Believe it or not, whenever someone comes in to be a truck driver, first thing I do, I don't let them know it, but I walk out and check out their car.
There you go.
I want to see if there's a bunch of crap in the back seat. He's probably not my guy.
I never understood why my boss in the middle of a snowstorm, somebody would wreck, you know, back into a tree or whatever. He'd go and have it fixed the next day and back out on the road. I'm like, why don't you wait until the end of the season? He goes, nope. He goes, I keep my trucks mint. That's the way we go.
These are our billboards. We get a lot of work from these trucks.
Yeah.
That was the first marketing scheme you ever did right there.
Well, and that was another question that came to mind is why not Stanley and Sons. Like, where did
Believe
American
it or
Pavement
not,
come
American Pavement, this was pre-internet years ago. They used to, you may remember, he doesn't, the Yellow Pages.
from? Okay.
And if your name had an A in it, you'd be first.
Okay. Oh, it went.
Yeah, it went by alphabetical. Well, then it was size, but if you were an A, when you advertised it, you'd be the first one in the...
I didn't even think about that.
Businesses if the username's available, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it was a thing. You'd see A1, A plus, and back you said Stanley and Sons, it would have been A Stanley and Sons.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, that's wow.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy. So, yeah, no, and you guys constantly grow, and you guys are constantly getting better. I don't know. I guess at this, yeah,
Thrive, Drive, 2025, right?
that's it. That's
What
it.
you're saying?
That's it.
All right. So, but I want to give you the chance to, speak about Raised on Blacktop, where they can find you, what you guys are doing, how they can find you.
Yeah, so we're pretty much on all platforms, at American Pavement, at Raised on Blacktop. We do have a YouTube channel, which is, YouTube's hard to get content out there consistently, but it's fun.
Your stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Shots and like that. Music's mint.
Yeah, so that's actually how we gained a big following too, was our YouTube page. So that's something fun. If we get an interesting job or anything like that, we'll have a videographer come out and shoot a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And what's cool is we just give that old school feeling, but it's new. It looks new school, with the drones and the good music and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at American Pavement, at Raised on Blacktop. The merch store is raisedonblacktop.com. Sell hats, hoodies. And then we work with manufacturers a lot to do these machine collaborations.
Yeah. Who are some of your sponsors?
John Deere is a big sponsor of American Pavement.
Yep.
And then Raised on Blacktop, we work with Lee Boy. They're a paving manufacturer. Malden. They're also a paving manufacturer. Shoulder Master is a company out of Australia that we work with. That all came from social media. X-Broom. I feel like a NASCAR driver right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank my mom.
Yeah, X-Broom. They're the sweeping. They build the road sweeper.
Ford and Peterbilt, so.
Yeah, Peterbilt. Hopefully will be the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our asphalt recycler, we advertise for them too. So at the end, anyone in paving that's watching this, at the end of March, I don't know if this will be out by then, we're going down to St. Louis for the World of Asphalt, which is a big deal for us.
Yep.
We work with World of Asphalt to promote the show. They give us a booth space, and I sell merch at the trade show.
Cool.
Like one of the only people selling something there that's tangible that they can take home with them. So we do really well there, and we have beer in the booth every day, and I bring models, and it's a good time.
That's awesome.
We do a kickoff party. So this year on March 24th, we rented out Cardinal Stadium, and we're going to be doing a party in the suite at Cardinal Stadium. It's 2 days before opening day, so we couldn't do it on the field.
Yeah.
But we have sponsors for the party, and we throw like a legit good party. It's not some corporate tight party. There's a band, open bar, and we let our hair down.
Dude, you guys are from Connecticut. I wouldn't expect anything less of you.
It's a banger.
So we're looking forward to all that.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for those that are listening and don't realize where we're at. Literally work going on. It's a Tuesday. You guys are taking the time to sit down and share your story. You guys could be working. You guys could be. So we took time out of your day. Hopefully, somebody gained something from this, and I really appreciate, all the sacrifice you did for today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Front work boots.